Welcome to the La Paz Lounge. I am your host, Lakeisha Sampson. So today we're doing something totally different, ladies and gentlemen. I am going live, and you all know that if you don't know that this is so uncomfortable for me, but hey, this is the first time for everything that La Paz Lounge is going live. Not even editing or anything, so hey, this is what you get. So, but thank you all for joining us on all platforms, and any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll answer them as the best way we can. Today we have Miss Yolonda, Gayden, and Jessica Walker, all the way from Monroe, Louisiana, to sit and chat with Miss Sampson on the La Paz Lounge. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. Yes, I'm so glad you know. Hey, Jessica, you and I, we've been knowing each other for a short period of time, but it seems like we're family now, you know. I was invited to a brunch that you invited me to back in February. And it was amazing. I got a chance to meet so many people. Networking. This lady right here is phenomenal. You know,
yes.
She does a lot, and she plays a big role in Miss Yolonda's life. So, correct me.
I'm a concierge consultant.
Yes,
but to her, I'm her PR person.
PR, yeah, I was gonna say PR. And so, your PR. What does PR mean? Tell me PR.
Public relations.
Public relations. So look, this is her public relations. I say your right hand man.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, I met Miss Gayden. I'm sorry. I met Miss Gayden at the brunch. She spoke. And didn't know, sometimes that was a networking event. And just listening to her speaking, she does this as a living. So, because she is a motivational speaker. So, this is second nature to her. So, you may have seen them on Louisiana Living. And tomorrow, you all will be a guest on
Good Morning, Arklamiss.
Yes. Good Morning, Arklamiss. Oh, my goodness. So, man, I'm so glad to be in your presence. I'm so glad to be amongst these two prestigious young ladies. And we just gonna jump right on in. Miss Yolonda is an author. You just heard me say she's a motivational speaker, but she's an author, poetry. She does poetry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And mainly her love is ministry.
Yes.
So would you say your ministry is through your poetry? Would you say through your writing?
I feel like my ministry actually is, it actually works through everything.
Wow.
The poetry,
Come on.
The writing of the books,
Okay.
The motivational speaking.
Oh, man.
I feel like everything I do, ministry plays a big part in.
Yes. And you say motivational speaker. So let me ask you something. When you're doing your motivation speaking, is it just for women or men, or is you're speaking amongst both men and women?
Oh, I speak to children.
Come on now.
Men and women.
Okay.
And just abroad to anyone who's in need of a motivational speaker.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Because she is really passionate about children.
Oh man.
Learning. She's been in learning for over 30 years.
Oh wow.
And so that's the reason why a lot of her books are children's books. To push the importance of literacy among younger kids. And the parents to be able to use the books as tools to not only spend time with their kids and help develop their reading skills, but teach them the message of the book. The book has a message.
Yeah. I know before the interview, but before we started, you was mentioning to me about a character of an autism child, correct?
Yes.
And this autism child, this character, Noah. Noah is nonverbal, correct?
That is correct.
So tell us about that book and why Noah? Like, where did that name come from? I'm kind of...
Well, Noah is a name I have always wanted to name my son.
Okay.
I have a son whose name is Robert.
Okay.
And I never had another son. I kept having daughters.
Okay.
So I never got a chance, the opportunity to use the name again. But I did name a grandson Noah. I gave the name to my son, who did name him Noah. But that name has always, for years, been very passionate to me. I've always loved the name Noah. And so I wanted to write a book for children who has autism.
Okay.
So that they could see themselves.
Okay.
And when you read the book, it just let them be able to see someone they can identify, with, and someone that looks and act like they act and look. And Noah, the character, he's nonverbal. But despite the fact that he is nonverbal, the community, his mother and his sister and the community of people, the teacher, actually helps him to be able to get a voice by learning sign language.
Wow.
So he can be able to communicate as well. So that's his voice. Noah finds his voice through sign language.
Through sign language. And just, I don't know. I remember someone asked you earlier. Do you do sign languages?
The basic little stuff.
Okay. So you have
because being having an early learning background of 30 years and being an early learning teacher, there's a lot of the like eat and the basic sign language that you learn.
So you just don't specialize in sign.
No, I wish.
But you might be on.
You never know.
Yeah, because girl, you got all these trades. So I love that. I know here, of course, the counseling agency here, but we do get a lot of referrals for autism. So, do you have some like a site, or can they reach out to you? Do you work with autism? I know you have the book, but do you have like a center?
I do. I don't have a center. I actually recently turned down owning my own center. I did because I really love what I'm doing right now. Yeah. And not only do I get to be an author, but I have I have everything I need to get a message across.
Yeah, that's your ministry.
And that is a part of ministry.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, something that I love, something that I enjoy. And one of the books that you have with you is called Aisha Brown Sugar Wishes.
See, I thought this was Noah, but it said Aisha. I saw that. I saw.
And so Aisha, the character, she has hearing aids.
Wow.
And so despite the fact that she wears hearing aids and that she cannot hear, she still is passionate about living her dreams and her wishes, and she has ambitions and hopes. Yeah. And despite the fact that she cannot hear, she goes on to do amazing and great things.
Oh, wow.
And throughout the book is affirmation for our little brown-skinned girls.
Amazing.
And something that even the parents can take from.
We know some Aishas and some Noahs.
I actually have adults who have purchased the books for themselves just to read it.
And how much is your books?
That one is $15. Right?
$15. Okay. And how can they purchase them?
The book is actually on Amazon. As well as you can contact me on social media. Facebook is my main social media handle. There's an inbox. I also have on my page an actual QR code that you can link up to order as well.
Yeah, amazing. So you guys, y'all hear that? She has a children affirmation
She's
book.
done so many workshops off of this book, because one of the things that I do as her PR person, when we talk about exposure, we go out into the community and host different events that feature the book. Because like I said, every book has so many different messages. And we did a Mommy and Me with this book. We had a Mommy and Me affirmation event where we talked about how parents can use the book to help affirm their child.
That's it.
In the morning time, they can, before they go to school, they can encourage them, because you never know what that child is going to encounter when they're out of your sight.
Amazing.
And you want to make sure you instill confidence into them. Like, there's a book with a girl that looks just like me, and she can do it. And even though I may not be hearing impaired, everybody has challenges. Everybody has things that they feel a little bit insecure about. Compared to someone else. And so a lot of kids are very mean and brutal, and they pick on them. And it's important for you to just really love all of you before you leave in the morning. You want your child to feel
confident.
And so even at night or however it is that you all spend time together, it's important that you listen to your child, that you're hearing them, that you're speaking positive. Let them know you can do it, you're worthy, you're important. And that leads to some of we talked about motherhood wounds earlier, but the childhood wounds that you know about as a therapist that we bring into our adulthood because we didn't receive that. And so that's just kind of breaking the mold a little bit. You know.
And also, like you said something so great. The world is so the kids are so cruel at times. But social media.
So I was gonna say social media. That's where they're spending the majority of their time, even at home. And you don't even know what all they could be seeing.
Comparison. You know. Yep. So I love the idea. I love it. So you guys, make sure you get those books. Social media. She says on Amazon. One of the books that I'm holding now, oh my goodness, and me and her talked about it briefly. I see one that she says, Unbound, Breaking Free from Domestic Violence. And you and I both know that, you know, people that's been victims of domestic violence. And I asked her, I said, Yolonda, why did you choose domestic violence to write a book about domestic violence? And you stated that you were a victim.
Yes, I was a victim, and now I'm victorious.
Yes, victorious.
Christ.
Yes.
I was in a couple of relationships, and I didn't grow up with parents, so I didn't grow up with love, self-identity. I didn't, you know, affirmations were not there, which is why I'm so passionate about it right now. I didn't have anyone to build me up. So when I entered into these relationships, you know, they came as, you know, coming to me as, you know, love and caring, and I mixed the two up, and I somehow thought that if a man was to beat me, that was love.
Oh, hold on, girl. Let me tell you something. This is a funny story, and I'm not going to even call no names because we are going live, but I am up in age now, but I recall as a young girl, and you know, I had some, you know, my peers, and they used to say this saying, girl, if they don't beat you, they don't love you. And so, I mean, and we laugh about it, because she was like, girl, if they don't beat you, they don't love you. And so, you really believe that?
I did. I believe that wholeheartedly. And actually, it was a guy that I was seeing that I really wasn't into. But he was like, you know, someone that was kind of filling up the spot at the time. But the day when he caught me doing something that I shouldn't have been doing before Christ's life, and he beat me, my eyes somehow opened, and I thought, oh my God, he must really love me.
For him to put his hands on me, he loved me.
Because, you know, he put his hand on me to keep me under control. So that must be really love, because I didn't know what love was. And that foundation from a mother and a father that I should have had, it was nowhere to be found. And so for that, I mistaken what love was. And so I ended up into 2 relationships of domestic violence.
Wow.
And they were, you know, really pretty bad. Really pretty bad.
How did you get out? Like, what was like, this is enough? Because people are always saying, I wouldn't do this. It couldn't be me.
But it's something that, from what I hear, it's hard to break free from.
It is very hard, because one that I'm thinking of in particular, I ended up getting married at the age of 17, which I don't really recommend for anyone, but I did. And, you know, it was a lot of arguments, there was a lot of mental things going on, and then it became physical. And so after a period of time, and I felt like, I can't go on like this. I don't, you know, and I had a child, and I was like, I can't, you know, continue to let my child see me getting beat by someone. So I came up with a plan. And I don't even know to this day, I think about, how did I even know to do this? But I came up with a plan, and I worked extra hours. I put money aside that he did not know about. And I came up with a place. I paid for it, put a deposit on it. And then the plan was to leave in the middle of the night when he was supposedly at work.
How did that work?
Well,
were you able to escape?
I went to the place that him and I were staying, which we were staying at one of his girlfriend's home.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, I have a very interesting story, a lot. But so I had met this guy, and the guy wanted to date me, and I was like, well, I'm still legally married, but I am leaving my husband. And for some reason, he was invested, and he was like, I'll help you move. So he came with me the night that I was trying to leave, and the husband at that time was still there, and he had ended up getting fired from his job because he was supposed to be working his night job.
So you couldn't even escape.
So I ended up escaping, but it was such a episode.
Yeah.
Because eventually he saw, we were moving furniture and different things like that, so he could hear it, and he woke up and he was drunk.
Yeah.
And he confronted me, and then the guy confronted him, and then he asked the guy, who are you? And he was like, I'm her cousin, which he was not my cousin.
Your cousin.
And he also carried a gun, the guy, and I didn't know that the guy had a gun, and so he showed him the gun, and then he got a little scared, kind of backed off.
Yeah.
And
That's how they be that the women beaters, they quit when you see a guy with a gun, they wanna jump on the women, but when them men, they don't want that.
He got quiet
as a mouse. Yeah,
quiet as a mouse. And we proceeded to take everything literally but the kitchen sink, because I had bought most of everything.
Yeah.
And I moved to a location on another side of town which he did not know about. So that's how I escaped.
Yeah. So I know that you and I both, and you being a victim, and you and I both know someone out there that's watching that's been a victim of domestic violence, and it's not easy. What advice? I mean, you was able to escape alive, because we know some that don't.
It's not everybody's story.
Yeah.
You really have to
escaping is the most dangerous.
That's the most dangerous, and you always have them people in your ear, like I just stated. Oh, I wouldn't take that. It's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
You wouldn't.
Yeah. Situation.
Yeah.
And most people are not going to want to change their lives. For me, it ended up working out where I moved on the other side of town. But there are women who talk about moving on another side of town. They find them. They still, which he did find me, and it still was tormenting, putting my tires on flat, and I still went through a period of things like that. And he did state that he was torture. He was going to kill me. But I really highly recommend that they would come up with a plan and try to have a secure plan, and it may even mean relocating out of the state.
Yeah.
And it may even mean something like a shelter or a safe place.
Yes.
Where if they show up there, there's going to be like safeguards in place where you're not going to be able to. And she has done some work locally in Monroe with
Yolonda, what haven't you done?
Whatever I put it in.
Yeah.
With not only with the Wellspring, but speaking at different events like a Love Doesn't Hurt event that my chapter just hosted. And it's difficult to relive your story
That's it.
and tell it, but it's freeing because guess what? The same way she never heard when she was growing up that wasn't love. Other people need to hear it. So that they don't end up in the same situation. So a lot of it too is about ministry, because it's about freeing other people before they even encounter it.
Come on now.
They have the knowledge before they go into this is not healthy. And what does healthy look like?
Yes. Let me ask you something, because and we're not going to spend too much time on this. I'm talking about this domestic violence, but this is a special topic because we do, like I stated, we do know a lot of women that are victims. I heard you say that you wasn't around a family. You didn't say this per se, but nurturing, like a family that showed you love. So what would you say statistically, females that does not have an active father figure in their male in their life, a parent, would you say they'd be subjected to more clinging to a seeking love for a male perspective? So are they prone to be more in domestic violence? Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes lots of sense. From my personal experience, I can definitely tell you not having a male figure nowhere around, because I'm talking about no leader, no church, no male figure. And when I was about 10, when a male figure did come into my life, he took advantage of me. He's my mom's boyfriend, and she left me with him.
You said sexual assault earlier.
Yes.
So sexual assault as well is another
sexual
thing
assault and domestic.
she's been able to.
Yeah.
So, because and she's fortunate because a lot of people they don't break. They never do.
Yeah.
You know, they never do find. And I'm not saying there's a happy ending where there's rainbows and sunshine.
Right, absolutely.
But they never do
heal.
You know, work.
Is that scar still there every night? Does a scent or a smell or a sound or something remind you of?
It have been a lot of work, a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
A lot of my faith that has gotten me to the point to actually be healed. You know, there is healing. You can be healed.
Yes.
There is closure.
Yes.
You know, God has done such a work in me that sometimes I'm honestly amazed myself.
You talking about, girl, you don't wrote books and, and you freely, because this is bound, breaking free.
She tells the stories. I'm like, that wasn't you.
I know. I wouldn't dare believe it when you were telling me that earlier.
Like, she started telling me, I'm like,
because you're so confident now, girl. I love it.
But you know, the confidence came from knowing who I was.
Yeah,
that's something that I didn't have.
That's it.
And knowing my identity in Christ has given me that.
Identity in Christ. Oh my goodness.
And knowing that I have purpose in Him.
Purpose in healing.
And no matter what happened in my life, God predestined Yolanda here for a purpose.
Yolanda, you probably be preaching on this little podcast. Come on now. We need to hear this.
And there's a reason that God has me here. And I'm telling you, I was broken.
Yeah.
I was sad. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I tried to take my life not one, not two, but 5 times.
5 times.
And it
had a purpose.
And you wasn't going to ever be successful because God wants you here.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why. And I tell my clients, you know, if I'm working with you, I'm working with everything that God has inside of you.
Come on.
Because I do what I do because I want people to reach the abundant life through the gifts that God has put inside them. And I believe that God wastes nothing. And so even all those years that you went through, all that pain and all that suffering, it was because He knew that you would break through to help somebody else break out.
That's it.
And
so you helping somebody right now.
You're helping someone
right now.
Even though at some point you needed help.
Yes.
But now you're able to speak out because you are obedient enough to speak out. Because some people would never open up and share it because it's difficult. You know, that's not easy. But people seeing you do this, literally living out loud what you've gone through and wanting to help other women, that's super powerful. Because hearing you speak one time can maybe help them know, okay, if I got touched this way, that's wrong. I need to tell somebody. If I'm getting hit this way. And then there are a lot of girls that don't know it's wrong to be touched that way.
Especially like young girls.
And they don't want to tell their parents because then their mom is going to take the side of the man.
And that happens. That was my situation.
Wow, you lying? You just fast. You know, that's it. You shouldn't have worn that tight shirt, or you know, something. That happens. Yeah, and I've seen it and heard it. You know,
and that is exactly.
And I know as a therapist, you know all about it.
We get it.
But it's very real. You know, we may not publicly tell our friends
because we're told what goes on in this house stays in this house. So when
not if it's killing you, it shouldn't stay in the house.
That's how we done got to where we are.
And
we really
that cycle needs to be
broken. That cycle.
That's it.
Yes, it needs to be broken.
But we know that going to a therapist is confidential.
That's it.
Yes,
and a trusted therapist.
Yes,
that's one place where you can release some things and find the healing for you. So people like you,
Jesus Coffee and Therapist.
Jesus Coffee and Therapist. I don't drink coffee, but
I love it.
Jesus Coffee and Therapist. Y'all hear that?
And she does life coaching too.
I love it.
So
I love it.
Even though it's not necessarily therapy, It's having that person beside you to walk you through every area of your life, whether it be what you're doing financially, whether it be what you're doing behaviorally or spiritually. We don't realize all the influences that we take with us. And that's one of the things that we discussed with this event coming up, right? Because with motherhood wounds, I mean, I'm not a mother. But at the same point in time, there are things that I carry with me because of what my mother put inside of me. And there are things that her mother put inside of her. And so if we don't ever recognize mentally what that looks like, behaviorally, what that looks like, what they chose to do, decisions that they made, how that impacted us, and even what they chose to do that caused harm on us even now. Meaning, my mom is on drugs and she expect me, to be there for her, to take her in every time because she's my mother. But it's hurting me.
It's hurting you,
and my family.
I got to be your mom.
I'm not supposed to be your mom. You're supposed to be my mom. Or either you want me to
take on so many roles,
pay your bills. You want
and I can't even be a child.
When am I ever gonna give a chance to? And so it's not fair.
It's not, and I see it right in this day.
There's so many people who don't have happy Mother's Days. We get a lot of happy Mother's Days on social media.
Or you really
happy Mother's Day, and you sitting at home like, I can't even call my mama because we haven't talked in 10 years.
And that's not how it's
because we had this one big blowout, and we haven't even talked. Or because my mama don't like my husband. There's so many things that we hold on to, or because my mama chose drugs over me.
A man over me.
A man over me.
And that's
my
what
mama
I feel.
allowed
my mom
me
chose men
to do things
over
to me.
me.
Wow.
Men
my mama
over
left
me.
me. My mama
abandoned.
My mama, just abandoned me, and now my aunt is taking. And thank God for people like that. Women who, because I don't believe that you have to biologically birth a child. To be a mother figure to a child. And there are so many women that have stepped in and raised communities. Like I've seen women raise 10 kids, foster kids, and they've even been abusive to those children. A lot of foster children go through things. But those are all things that we don't ever, and I believe that in this time, we have to learn to have conversations.
That's it.
Because like you said earlier, stuff was just under the rug, and it wasn't talked about.
It wasn't talked about
at all. It didn't help us, though. It was killing us. And ultimately, our community at large, not just families, but strong families make a strong community.
That's it.
And we're not going to ever have strong families if we don't have healthy families.
That's right.
And so we have to look at how we operate and what that pain looks like when you lose a child. I was pregnant. I had a miscarriage. There are people who never get over that.
True.
I'm 39 and I want to be a mother, and I'm seeing everybody else having kids, but I've lost 6 kids. What does that look like, right? And so we have to recognize that people carry pain, but then people transfer pain.
That's it.
So
what they say?
Bleed on other people. They bleed on other people.
Yes.
And so it's also
hurt people.
Yes, hurt people.
That's because it's not fair for that other person. To have to deal with something that you haven't reconciled.
Right. That's it.
And so it's
I've
really
been there.
Your responsibility. But to heal, whatever circumstances life throws at you, a lot of things that you don't have control of.
That's right.
But you can control what you do with it and how you play the cards. You can't control what hand you get dealt. But you can control how you play the hand.
That's a good.
And
say that again.
That's what I tell all my little cousins, my brother, I was like, there's going to be some things in life that happen to you that are not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility.
That's your responsibility.
Because whatever environment you grew up in and what you saw, of course, that's going to be what you replicate. But at some point, when are you going to take it? You're going to have to get over. Well, this is, of course, that's your mom. They should lead. But what if your mama never does?
My pastor
Are you going to sit here and just struggle because your mama never came and apologized?
Yes. My pastor just said something so powerful the other day. He said, forgive. Ooh, that's something we struggle with.
Ooh, yes, ma'am.
We struggle with all this hurt.
Yeah.
We struggle with that. And we
you
take
to
off.
suffer.
Yeah.
And I feel like you suffer if I don't forgive
If you don't forgive.
But actually, it's doing more damage.
It's
to
You
doing-
really suffer.
Oh,
because
I'm the
other
one
person
that
don't even
suffer.
think they're wrong.
I
So
call
they
it
just-
So have
like
you forgiven your
I've
abuser?
forgiven my mother. I've forgiven the person that raped me, and it has been a process. And it did not come overnight. And it came for me through my faith and through praying and seeking God and, really understanding what forgiveness is.
Yeah.
And, I wish I could say that I was born doing everything that God wanted me to do. And I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I know we tend to categorize sin and put it in different categories, but sin is sin.
Sin is sin.
And so,
good.
the Heavenly Father gave me for so much. Even when I rejected God, there was a time where I didn't even believe in God. And I laughed at people who had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And so He forgave me.
So why you can't forgive
So
them?
why I can't forgive someone else?
That's the motivation.
Yeah.
Because it's going, you can't, until you get that plank out your own.
That's it.
Like the
That's
Bible
it.
says,
That's it.
you got to be able to see that if He gives you grace every single day that you mess up, then maybe you can get somebody just a little bit.
Just a little bit, girls.
Exactly.
And it's not easy though.
It's
Like you
still
said,
not.
it's not
It's
easy.
still
It's
not.
not
It's-
easy.
it's
at all.
not
It's not
easy.
easy.
And
at
when
all.
we get the older that we become, the more we see our parents as just people that were just trying to figure it out.
Yep. Girl.
Because when you're younger, you think y'all supposed to know. I know I did. Like this is my mama. She's supposed to be there when I call her. I need her. But my mama had stuff going on too.
Girl, me and my sisters, we talk about this.
You know what I'm saying?
Girl, we talk about this now as an adult.
As an adult.
Because as children, we didn't understand. Because our parents was trying to figure it out. And so we kind of struggle with a lot of things as children. But as we got older, we sit around and we discuss now
about how hard adulting is.
It is.
Like,
and we said it on the podcast a while ago. We was just talking about parents and they trying to figure it out too.
And they still are.
And we do have to
like
take
forever
in
they're going to
consideration,
be figuring it out.
Like, what were the age of your parents?
That's it.
What was
That's
going
it.
on? And they're like, but they do also have to take responsibility.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
what?
I take that in consideration.
They may never do.
They may never do.
I take that into consideration, but it's not an excuse.
That's you're right.
You still have to have accountability.
You got to have accountability.
Daughter, I did not do right by you. I did not do what I was supposed to do for you as a mother. Forgive me.
Yeah.
And then explain yourself.
That's where the healing starts. Yeah.
Because even, I'm pretty sure, and I've spoken to Yolonda about this, you have 4 children that you were blessed to be able to be a mother to. And even though you feel like you try to do things differently, what was done to you, I'm pretty sure they still feel like at times you weren't the best mom to them.
Oh.
And so there's always that back and forth.
And we question, I'm a mother, that's
and
what I'm
that
like.
mom guilt that they say y'all have, like, am I being a good mom?
Yes.
I'm trying to make a good life.
That's it.
I'm busy, I'm trying to make good money, because maybe I didn't grow up with this or that. But then am I seeing my child for who they really are? And I want my child to know, if nothing else, I love you. If nothing else. And so sometimes that takes a village.
That is.
All the time. I say, motherhood is like a neighborhood.
That's
and
it.
I know my friend, I call her my niece, her daughter, when she had her child, because she was reluctant about even having a child.
Children.
She did not want to have children. I wouldn't have picked her out because she was a very selfish person. I want to travel. I want to do what I want to do. I want to, and I was like, well, you had a shot. You had to sit down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it was a decision. And I said to her, regardless of what you decide, I'm going to commit to being there for you in your village. I want you to know that if you have this child, you're not going to be by yourself. Because it's going to take more than just you to be able to raise this child. A lot of people just don't have adequate support.
That's it.
If they would have had another auntie, if they would have had a grandparent, somebody in the church to look up to,
mentor or someone.
Because there was no village.
You look back at people and they say, who do you want to be like? it may have been your Sunday school teacher that you connected with. You know, anybody. It's not always people's mom that they have the most connection to.
That's right.
And I think that we need to be more understanding of the struggles that come with being mothers, so that we're able to notice things in children, and we're able to step in as women.
That's right.
Just to be able to help their sister out and go, you know what? I think that maybe you need to be a little bit easier on the child. I think that maybe you need to be
grace.
Because the daughter may not ever come out and say it, but it may be something that you can relate to. And as women, we just got to be better to ourselves.
That's it.
Be nicer to ourselves, and stop being as
hard,
competitive, and trying to present like we got it together.
And it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to say I'm not okay, because I say it all the time. I may walk around with a smile, but today I'm not okay. And today was one of them days. I was not okay today, but sitting here talking to you ladies, I'm honestly like, that is helping, because I'm hearing some things that I can relate to, or some things that I needed to hear. So I'm so glad, Miss Yolanda, you was here, and you, Miss Jessica, as well. And that brings to me my time to shine.
Yes.
Do you have that one?
Do I have this book?
Okay.
My time to shine. Baby, tell me about my time to shine.
You gotta open it so you can see all of. I love the drawings, but more than that,
so this is a coloring book.
It is an affirmation. Adult coloring book. Although I like the color too. Yeah. I have
very therapeutic.
It is for their daughters and their teens, but I originally designed it, and my daughter did the cover. Yeah, shout out to Aisha. She did my cover.
An affirmation coloring book.
And so you can sit down, and as you color, you can speak the words over yourself and know that it's your time, and it's your time to shine.
Do you got some on hand?
I do have a few on hand.
Yes. I need one today. I need this today, and I need.
That's why they need to come to the Peach Festival.
The Peach Festival.
Because see,
she gonna be there.
She gonna be at the Peach Festival.
Yolanda gonna be everywhere. She gonna have everything.
And there are a lot of people that really need time, even if it's 10 minutes out of a day, that they take where nobody's screaming their name. They don't have any kind of.
It is so relaxing.
And when you take it, some people like take the page out the book, put it on their wall in their office as a reminder, and you can color it the way you want to. I mean, write on it, anything. It's personalized.
Hello, gorgeous.
Yes.
Look at this, you all.
Speaking affirmations.
Anybody told them that they were beautiful.
Yes. And that's something growing up I never was told. I never heard the words, you're beautiful, you're loved, nothing positive. My world was completely all negative.
So how was that when, I'm not sure if this is an appropriate question, okay? When you had your daughters, were you saved then? Because sometimes, like you said, we repeated cycles. So if you were around...
I really thank God. I already know where you're going. I really thank God that one of my children was 2, and I think the other one was 4 when I gave my heart and my soul and my life to the Lord. And so they didn't have to experience none of what I had experienced. I was very blessed that even though I struggled with affection, because that was something that was not shown to me, I literally prayed. I remember getting on my knees asking God, help me to show my children that I love them, because that's something I didn't have. So even now they will tell you 37 and 33, and I still hug them, I still kiss them, I still show them affection even now.
You can tell a person all day, I love you, but it's about those actions. They want to be held, and they want to say,
every child is going to want that love differently. So you really have to individualize how you parent it.
Even my grown daughter, who came down when I got the award for Friday night.
What is this award first? Let's talk about this award before we jump into this. The Best of ARCLA Miss of 2025.
So super excited. It's my second award of the year. And there was a voting system that went out, and when we first started, I think it was 6 or 7 people who were also nominated for Arthur of the Arklamiss. So I'm very blessed and excited about being able to win this award. I mean, it's just been such a blessing. And I'm just super excited. So Friday night, I was presented with this award, and in front of everybody. It was such an awesome, like a magical moment, and I've really had the community to celebrate my accomplishment, and I'm very excited and proud of that.
And you was basically saying this is the award.
Yes, for the best author of the Arklamiss.
Yes.
So super excited.
I'm excited too, Yolanda. Oh my goodness. And so you guys, you was saying something before you mentioned the award.
Well, we were talking about affection and things of that sort, and I was just saying that I've been able to give my daughters and my son something more than what I had. And even when she came down to see me get the award Friday night, I ended up spending some time with her and my babies, Gigi babies, that Saturday. And she was sitting, next to me, and I just grabbed her, and hugged her, and she kind of leaned on me. So even in their grown state, I still want them to know that I love them and show them some type of affection. And I'm just so, God is just so amazing because He really flipped my whole life, turned it around, and everything that I had been exposed to, I've been able to give my children way more than what I ever had.
In the love, love. So I'm glad to have you all on the show.
Thank you so much.
I do have this flyer that's taking place, hosted by you and Miss Jessica.
That is correct.
Which is May 31st, and it's a free community event for physical, mental, behavioral health. And this is an event for various things to heal those wounds and restore that hope. And that's pretty much what all Miss Yolanda has been talking about. Healing and restoring. And so you all, and it's a free event this Saturday, May 31st, at let me see, where is this at Mount Zion Street.
Correct.
211 Mount Zion Street in Monroe, Louisiana. So you all, how can they register? Is it just a free, it's
a free event. You can look for on Everbright and register, but you are more than welcome to just come on out. We work really hard to bring you this event, and the event came from a journal that I'm working on, which is called Mother and Father Wounds. And so helping people to try to heal and walk through all of the things they have had issues with their mother as well as their father. And so the event was birthed from that journal. And we hope to have that journal out in the middle of August. So please follow me on Yolonda Gayden Facebook to be able to get that journal when it comes out. I've already had people pre-registering and purchasing that journal.
How much is
advance.
Yes.
So the journal is going to be $19.99.
Okay.
And I've really been taking my time so that I can walk you through the stages of what I went through and how to come out and how to be healed on the other side.
Heal and restore as well.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to thank you and Miss Jessica for joining us on the La Paz Lounge.
Ooh, thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, we can go on all night. We don't want to bore you all, we just try to kind of keep it short and sweet, but thank you for all those jewels and gems that you shared, the knowledge, even just opening up about some of the things that you experienced. So I'm just glad that you was able to just heal me and you didn't even know it.
Oh.
Yes, so thank you again. And that concludes our show, young ladies and gentlemen, on the La Paz Lounge. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.